Looking forward towards the election coming this November, many people may find themselves between two undesirable candidates. However, voters are not limited to voting for just the Democratic or the Republican Party. There are various other choices that voters will see on the ballots this fall. My name is Jason Millis, and today I will be discussing third-party politics in the United States. By the end of this speech, you will know more about third parties and how they affect the American political system. This is relevant especially to GVSU students because college students such as ourselves are finally old enough to vote in political elections for political offices, and the results of these elections will affect everyone within the United States. Today I will be discussing the three major third parties and their policies. I'll discuss how these third parties appeal to the United States public, and I will discuss the effect that these third parties have on U.S. politics. The three major third parties in the United States are the Libertarian Party, the Green Party, and the Constitution Party. The Libertarian Party, which is the oldest and largest of these three parties, was formed in 1971. They aim to reduce government influence, to lower taxes, and to put as much choice into the hands of the people. The Green Party, which is the youngest of these three parties, was formed in 2001. As the name suggests, they have a large focus on environmental preservation. They also champion other liberal ideals such as social justice, anti-war and anti-violence, and decentralization of American society away from the powerful few and towards the many. The Constitution Party is the last of these parties, which was formed in 1992. They believe the government should follow the Constitution to a key, and that we must return to what the Founding Fathers had intended. They support limited government and aim to put more power in the states. Now that we have discussed these third parties, we can now discuss how they appeal to the American public. The main way that these parties appeal to the American public is championing issues that big parties don't follow as strongly. The Libertarian Party, for example, champions small government, an ideal lost to the two major parties in their constant power struggle. The Green Party, as discussed earlier, champions environmental preservation, and the Constitution Party champions strict interpretation of the Constitution. These parties continue to appeal to the United States public due to the dissatisfaction that people feel with the major two parties. In a 2018 poll, 57% of Americans say that the two big parties no longer do a satisfactory job in leading the government. 6% of voters in the 2016 election did not vote for either Democrats or Republicans in the election, and support continues to go to these smaller third parties as the two major parties continue to nominate unpopular candidates. Now that we have discussed the third parties, as well as the way these third parties appeal to the American public, we will now discuss how these third parties affect American politics. Strong third parties can overtake weaker third parties in the bipartisan process. The Whig Party, for example, in the early 1800s, overtook the Federalist Party in its decline as it failed to produce another president after John Adams, who was elected after George Washington. Following the Whigs, the Republican Party overtook them as the country continued towards the Civil War. These parties also take away votes from the major political parties. Libertarians often take votes away from the Republican Party, and the Green Party often takes away votes from the Democratic Party. In Michigan, for example, the margin by which Trump beat Clinton in the 2016 election was smaller than the amount of votes that third parties received in Michigan. And outside of the major presidential election, officials have been elected from third parties into government seats. Justin Amash is a Michigan representative representing the Libertarian Party in Congress. And there are many, many other political figures within the United States representing these third parties in mayoral positions and other positions as well. After hearing this speech, you should know more about the third-party politics within the United States. Third parties are another viable option in elections of positions in the United States government. We have covered third parties, how they appeal to the American people, and the way they affect the political system. While preparing for the presidential election this fall, do not forget about third parties, and while making your final decision for who you think would be the best leader for our country.